The State Chamber's annual agenda is the game plan for efforts here in the spring at 23rd and Lincoln. But the process to produce it is a year-round affair, starting with solid data and research, followed by business leaders thinking things through in our Council of Advisor meetings.
In recent years, the State Chamber has rethought the way we work here at the Capitol, pushing for bold, transformative legislation that impacts all businesses across the state.
In 2025, the State Chamber will focus its efforts on legal reform, taxes, and of course, workforce. In 2023, the Chamber helped establish the groundbreaking Oklahoma Workforce Commission. Led by private sector leaders, it continues to explore our state's workforce players and pipelines.
When you ask the question of who owns workforce in the state, when these questions were happening, you had over 30 different agencies that would raise their hand. Now we're starting to see a correlation of all of us connecting those pieces together.
But now it's time for action.
This new commission has to be properly resourced now, not only to administer the precious little funds we get federally, but we now have to think about how we're going to match that and get a multiplier effect and become a leader.
Getting students into the workforce and keeping them in Oklahoma is critical for our state's long-term growth. The State Chamber continues to press for less red tape when it comes to work-based learning opportunities like internships and apprenticeships.
I think this can really be a really good opportunity to try to open up some opportunities for our students and our businesses who are struggling with obviously trying to run their business and find the employees, and they also want to support the future workforce.
The State Chamber and its members consider childcare workforce infrastructure. That's why we continue to push for tax credits for employers that offer childcare options for their employees.
We've spent 3 years working on this. Businesses have not changed their tune. They are desperate to get these improvements. They are desperate to make sure that their employees have what they need. They are desperate to find those employees that are out there that are staying home because they cannot afford or they cannot find childcare that they need.
Legal reform has been on the minds of Oklahoma business leaders for many years. It will be a top priority for the Chamber in 2025.
It's important for Oklahoma's courts to be predictable for business, and that's why legal reform's on our agenda this year. So one, we're looking at requiring disclosure of third-party funding agreements in lawsuits so businesses know what they're up against when they go to court. We're also looking at strengthening contract law so that businesses, their contractors and subcontractors have clarity in what they're agreeing to and what they can be held liable for.
There has been an uptick in what I will call frivolous litigation that is impacting our business community. You know, we can often talk about wanting to make Oklahoma a top 10 state for business growth and development, but you have to have a regulatory structure in place that supports that.
And the State Chamber will continue to advocate for pro-growth tax reform by condensing income tax brackets and reducing barriers in the corporate income tax. Oklahoma will be more attractive to companies from across the country and the globe.
You can use the word simplify, streamline, reform, all of those kind of work along the same lines. And what I'm trying to do is figure out a way to create a tax structure that is understandable and stable. Get an overall picture where we're not just selectively picking things here and there, but trying to come up with an overall policy that makes the state better for business.
Ultimately, these initiatives need to be heard at the Capitol, and the State Chamber is ready to be the leading voice for Oklahoma business.
The 2025 legislative agenda has some really critical pieces on it that I'm really excited to take to the state capitol and socialize with legislators and the executive branch. With the unified voice of the business community behind us, at our backs, we can get these across the finish line and continue the movement for economic development and workforce development that businesses rely on.
We know our role. It's to be the voice for business at the Capitol. Our priorities this year will make a difference for Oklahoma, and whatever challenges come our way, we're ready because our job is to make Oklahoma the best place to do business in the country.